Hi, it's Stuart again from Berkshire Guitar Amplifier Repairs in Reading, England. On the bench I have a Marshall, what the hell is this? Oh, it's an Origin 50. I've never seen one of these before, brand new amp to me, even though I have hundreds and hundreds of amps coming in every year. Every week, every fortnight I get an amplifier I've never seen. This is one of them. It looks quite new to me. I'm going to power it up, and the customer says it gives a really kind of horrible loud hum noise which it didn't used to. So I don't know, what could it be? Might be a valve, might be an output valve, might be an HT cap possibly. Anyway, let's not speculate. Let's get the amp powered up and let's have a listen to see what kind of hideous noise it's making. Okay, I have the mains plugged in. Let's power it up. I haven't had a listen yet. Oh no, sorry, that's the power there. Low, medium and high output. Let's put it on low. Okay, the lights come on. It's a valve amp, so it might take a little while to warm up. Oh, I can hear a hum now. Woo! Do not like the sound of that. Horrible. That's a really loud hum. It does change with that. Doesn't change with any input, so that's on the... Now turn that off, I don't like the sound of that at all. Okay, that was a very quick test. The fact that it didn't change with any of these controls here tells me it's on the output stage. It could just be as simple as a blown power valve or something. Anyway, we're not going to be able to tell. I think the next thing is to take the back off and have a quick look inside to see if we can see anything obvious. Right, here we are with the chassis out. Just have a quick scan along here. Very modern PCB construction, of course. Nothing obvious at all. I've had a little look along, and there are no obvious problems on the board, not that I can see anyway. The next thing I'm going to do is to turn it on again and have a look at the valves and see if I can actually hear anything coming from the inside with that hideous hum. It could just be as simple as one of these smoothing electrolytics has gone down. That's pretty much what it sounds like to me. Let's turn it on again. There we go. Just have a little look at these valves whilst it warms up to see if anything is happening there. Ooh, that's horrible. That really is horrible. Nothing obvious going on here. I'm just waggling these in case they've come unsoldered on the bottom. Nothing there. Valves look okay, they're not red plating or anything. The next thing I've done is to pull the phase splitter valve here, and that will just isolate the entire front end section, just leaving the power section. So let's see if that still hums. I strongly suspect it will. And let's turn it on. Yeah, I can hear that building up. Horrible. Alright, I think... what next? I suppose since it's quick, I'll pop another pair of EL34s in. I've got a gut feeling it's not a power valve, but I'll just pop another pair in there because it only takes 2 minutes and it's worth doing. Right then, so there's the old pair taken out, there's a new pair popped in. What I reckon, I don't think it'll make any difference whatsoever. Let's have a little listen. Never know your luck though. They're quite cold, these new valves, so it'll take a second or so to warm up. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, that is quiet. That power's on. We're in. I wonder if it was the power valves. Oh well, you know what I'm going to do now, don't you? I'm going to put the face splitter back in. Let's do that and see what happens. Well, here we go, moment of truth. I've got the power in, I've got a guitar plugged in, and I will turn it on. I'd be quite surprised if it's the valves, but very pleased. Aha, now I wonder. There's nothing coming through. Did we pop an HT fuse with all that noise? No, that made a noise. That was humming, wasn't it? Definitely, definitely humming with those other valves in. Okay, speaker in. There isn't really a standby switch on this amp. There's a power range switch. Ominously dead. Nope, nothing there. Anyway, the next thing I'm going to do is just check these fuses here, because I wonder if we popped a fuse. Right, all three fuses are fine. So the next thing to do, it's not easy to get on the HT here, particularly. I don't know where to measure the HT at this stage, so I'm just going to flip the amp up onto its other side and get a couple of bias meters in on the output tubes, because that will tell me whether we're getting HT on the output tubes plus any current through those tubes. So let me do that now. Okay, I've got two bias meters set up on the power valves. Whilst I was doing that, I had a little thought. I turned down all the volumes, of course, on the amp, and so maybe that was why we weren't getting any sound through. So I've put them all on mid now. I haven't turned it on yet. I'll do that for you. I've got a guitar plugged in just in case we get lucky. So let's turn on, I think it's that one. No, it's this one. Right, what have we got? Insanely high plate voltage as ever with Marshall, 500 volts. Ugh! Ooh. Okay, I can hear something. The tubes are coming up, look, 19, 20, and I can hear a horrible hissing noise coming through the speaker. Ooh. Right, there's no... interesting. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that hiss. Real white noise hiss. That kind of shows the power section's working okay. And look, they're drawing 25 milliamps and 20 milliamps. I'm not unhappy with that. The HT's okay. Was this a... I think I'm going to change the preamp tubes as well. I'll just change all three and see what happens. It doesn't take a minute to change the tubes. It's just not worth messing around. They are originals. We've got two Marshalls. What's this one here? That's a Marshall too, so we've got three Marshall tubes, probably original tubes. Anyway, let me pop in a new set and see if that hissing goes away and see if we get a signal. We've got nothing at the moment. I strum the guitar and zilch. Okay, let's swap these valves out. Marshall ECC83. I'll put some JJs in. I could do them one at a time, but let's just shotgun the thing and see if this solves our problem. I hope it does, because getting involved in the printed circuit board there won't be easy. Marshall ECC83, again looking original, I think, that one. That's that one. And the third one, same again. Another ECC83 Marshall. Okay, let's see if this sorts it out. If not, I've got a horrible feeling we're in for the long haul with this amp. Right, speakers in, guitars in, mains is in, power on. Can you see those? Yes you can, good. 500 volts, I hate that, it's just too high. Everything starts to give problems at 500 volts. You can have these valves kind of arc over. That actually sounds a bit better actually. Hey, excellent. That's fantastic, that's working fine. So it was the power valves, which is a little bit surprising. Now we're going to need to bias this amp too. They're not superbly matched, these power valves, and you know what, I'm going to put in a pair of Marshall valves here rather than these JJs. I don't like JJs with these very high plate voltages that Marshall put on their amps, and in particular the 100 watt amps are a disaster with JJs in. I've just seen them arc over before my eyes, just literally I've been watching it, it's arced over. It's supposed to be good to 800 volts, but they definitely are not, or well, some of them are not. I'm not a valve expert in that sense, but I think the problem is if the vacuum is not absolutely perfect, or if it's slightly below what it should be, then the valve can arc over at a lower voltage. But that's only my speculation, I have no knowledge on that. I do know that JJs in 100 watt Marshalls give problems, so I'm just going to swap those out for a pair of Marshalls. You never know, we may get lucky and the bias might come up. It needs to be a bit higher than this, I think. I don't know, I'll have to look it up, but I would guess at 35 milliamps or something. So we've got plate voltage of 465. I'll look up what the correct bias voltage should be and I'll put in a pair of Marshalls and let's see if we are in business. Right, here we are, brand new pair of Marshall EL34Bs. Let me show you something. I looked at the valves that came out of it, and these were Marshall valves, interestingly enough. Can you see that this one is has been running more hot than this one? You can tell that by the way the paint has faded. I think you should be able to see that. Let me see, I hope so. That faded paint now on this left hand valve compared to the right, that tells me that valve's been running hot, and indeed that valve's almost certainly faulty. I'm just going to throw that valve immediately to get rid of it. That was a hit in the bin, and I will put in these new Marshalls and see what the bias is, and see if we have to bias it. It doesn't matter if we do, because I like to make a bias video for as many amps as possible, so I'll just knock out a quick bias video whilst I'm at it. Right, turn on. This is Eurotube's latest bias probe with the LED version compared to the LCD. I actually prefer the old one. Sorry Eurotubes, there you go. Now here comes plate current look. Okay, we do have a bit more. It's looking quite good actually. Bit higher maybe, 41, 42. Let me look up what that should be. I go to a thing called Weber Bias Calculator, which I use all the time on the Ted Weber site, and you can quite literally put in your valve here, where are we, 34, and the plate voltage, which is 450, let's call it, and you press calculate bias and up it comes at 39 milliamps, 38.8. Try and lots of shine on here, but anyway, I think hopefully you can see that. So at 45 we're a little bit high. I think I will just work out how to adjust that down. I've no idea how to do that, but shouldn't be rocket science, and we are in business here. Awesome. Alright, I'm going to flip it back over the other side now and we'll see if we can work out how to bias this amp. Well, I'm just looking at the board here. I don't suppose we're going to be lucky enough to have a bias pot, are we? Here's something here marked trim 1. No way they'd mark that biased, of course. That would just be kind of helpful. We don't really want anything helpful on the board, do we? I'm wondering if that's the bias. I've never had one of these amps on the bench. Let's have a little twiddle. We've got 48 on one, we've got 48 on both. Very well matched pair, these, actually. That's nice. That's high. We want 38, if you remember. So I'm just going to I'm going to be very careful in case this isn't the bias control. Ooh! A little touch anti-clockwise there, and this went down to 45 immediately. This is the bias control. Put that down to 39. Well, how easy was that? So Marshall have added a bias control, which is fantastic. Good. I like it when they spend the extra 5p and add a bias control. Otherwise you have to take the printed circuit board out and start doing all kinds of things. So this is looking very clean, this amp. It looks absolutely mint, to be honest with you. Nicely biased up. I'm kind of wondering if we're done here. I think we probably are. Well, that was fairly straightforward, wasn't it? I wish they were all like that. Well, I probably don't. I'd get a bit bored. So, straightforward valve problem. Loud hum. One of the output valves was faulty. Swapped the 2 output valves. Found a hiss. Swapped the preamp valves, and all is good. The customer's very pleased. It would have cost a lot more, obviously, to get involved in that printed circuit board. Nice little amp. Quite like the sound. Very clean inside, so yeah, good little amp. I've never come across one before. This is the first one, so there you go. I managed to do a little bias video for it as well, so that's always a bonus. So thanks very much for watching. Thank you to Marshall for putting a bias pot on the amp, and I'll catch you on the next video.